Hello students, let us move to topic number 4 that we have already discussed during the theory derivations. It is just an electrostatic analog that is comparing chapter 1 with this chapter 5. And we know that in this chapter electric field was replaced by magnetic field, electric dipole moment was replaced by the magnetic dipole moment. The symbol has changed. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, the constant is replaced by mu naught. Permittivity, 1 upon permittivity is replaced by permeability. 4 pi remain as it is. So we have a table where we have compared the electrostatic with the magnetism. 1 upon epsilon naught in this chapter is replaced by mu naught dipole moment p vector to m vector. We have also derived the formula for this axial and electoral field. Negative sign indicate the direction which is opposite to the dipole moment. So here the formula was 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Instead of this we have written mu naught upon 4 pi m vector upon r cube. Negative sign indicate that the direction of the electric field is opposite to the dipole moment. Similarly, axial field we have a formula. Torque, that is a dipole placed in external electric or magnetic field. We discussed this in the previous lecture. So it was p vector cross e vector. Here we have m vector cross b vector. Similarly, the work done or the potential energy stored when we do the work on a dipole is replaced by minus p dot e to minus m dot b. So this is a comparison. And then we have a small example 4 based on this formula. We have a bar magnet whose length is 5 centimeter. So instead of an electric dipole, we have a bar magnet here. The distance is 5 centimeter. The length of a bar magnet is 5 centimeter and the distance of a point P where you have to find out the magnetic field intensity is 50 centimeter from the center of the magnet. You have to find out the magnetic field intensity at the axial as well as an equatorial point. So this is a short dipole. Short dipole means L is less than the distance and the dipole moment given is 0.4. So directly first you have to find out the magnetic field intensity along the axis, that is an axial point. So this is the formula. We have to find out the magnitude. So it can be directly written as 2m mu naught upon 4 pi upon r cube. So all the physical quantities are given. You have to simply substitute this. Similarly, B equatorial. So that is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi m upon r cube. Here it is a short dipole, that is LB is less than R. Otherwise, you have to apply the general formula, that was power was L square plus A square raised to 3 by 2 like this. Here it is a short dipole, so we apply formula directly. Now, again we come to a diagram when we started this chapter. This is the magnetic field lines of a bar magnet. This is the magnetic field lines of a solenoid and this is an electric dipole. So we discussed about the dipoles and we found resemblance between the bar magnet and the solenoid. That is, the magnetic field intensity of bar magnet is similar to the solenoid or a coil having carrying current I. And then we made a comparison between the electric field lines and the magnetic field lines. So these are the magnetic field lines for solenoid and this is your bar magnet. Now, as we have a Gauss law for electrostatic, we also have a Gauss law for magnetism. Now suppose we consider one surface. This is one surface. Let us name this as surface number 1. This is 1. This is 1. Now what is the electric flux or the magnetic flux linked with this surface 1. So what is that flux? Flux is nothing but a number of field lines crossing a area. Generally we held it normal to the field lines. So the number of field lines passing through a unit area, that was a magnetic flux or a electric flux. Now if we see this region 1 or the surface 1, so it is a closed surface, we find that the number of field lines entering this closed surface is equal to the number of field lines emerging from the closed surface. So from this side the field lines are entering, and from the other side the field lines are emerging. So the flux linked with this region 1 is 0 in all the cases, whether it is the electric field line or a magnetic field line. So if we have a closed surface, the number of field lines entering from one surface is equal to the number of field lines entering from the other surface. We assume it is a closed surface. Now let us consider another surface which is enclosing the poles. Suppose this is another surface, surface number 2. Here we are assuming, now if it is a solenoid, this face also behave like a north pole and this face will behave like a south pole. Let us consider a surface which encloses the electric field lines. So these are surface 2. Now clearly, when we see this, the number of field lines entering from this region, so this region, it form a closed loop and enter from a other side. So if I consider a closed surface for the magnetic field lines, it enters from one surface, from one side, and it enter and leave this surface and form a closed loop like this. It is forming a closed loop. So what will be the magnetic flux? Clearly, the number of field lines entering is equal to the number of field lines leaving the surface. So whatever number enters from one side, same number emerges from the other side and it form a closed loop. So the magnetic flux associated with this bar magnet, which is enclosing, say, the north pole, is 0. For a solenoid also it is 0, because now the reason for this is the magnetic field lines form a closed loop that we have discussed in the starting. Now see the electric field dipole. This surface encloses, so if I consider one closed surface, it encloses the positive charge and the field are simply originating from it. It is not forming a closed loop. It terminates at the negative charge. So we have discussed this, the flux is positive. So phi 2 is not equal to 0. It is positive. And what was its value? Summation Q upon epsilon naught. So what the Gauss law for magnetism says, that the net magnetic flux associated or linked with the closed surface is always 0. And the reason is the magnetic field lines form a closed loop. Also, the magnetic monopole does not exist. So this also indicates that a magnetic monopole does not exist. Electric monopoles exist, and so we have a flux to be positive or negative. If the closed surface enclosed a positive charge, then the electric flux was positive. And if it enclosed a negative charge, the electric flux was negative. So we have electric flux equal to the ratio of the charge enclosed to the permittivity of the medium. But this is not a case with the Gauss law for magnetism. So the Gauss law for magnetism is very simple. The net flux linked or associated with closed surface is always zero. That is, the magnetic flux is zero. Now, what are the key points you have to remember? Why it is zero? So, magnetic monopole does not exist. So, magnetic monopole does not exist, and so it is not possible that the magnetic field lines originate or terminate or enter or leave it, because it form a closed loop. So magnetic field lines form closed loop. So whatever number of the field lines emerge from one surface, that much that number will enter from the other surface. So this is the Gauss law for magnetism. However, if the surface is again irregular, closed surface is irregular, so we know the process. We make a small element. So this is a small element, say this is your delta S vector, and suppose the magnetic field lines are passing through this surface. So these are the magnetic field lines, and this will be considered as a theta. So again, the entire surface should be divided into small elements. So we divide this into a small element. We know this method that we did in chapter 1. Then we find out the magnetic flux linked with a small area element, and that would be equal to B dot delta S, similar to the electric flux, and the total flux. Now this will also comes out to be zero, because whatever number of field lines will pass through one surface, it will emerge from other side. So this is the magnetic flux linked with the closed surface. A small element, we take it and we find out the magnetic field intensity at this point, and it will also come out to be zero. So like this, you find out the magnetic flux for all the area element, and the total flux will be equal to the summation of phi b, that is all elements, and it comes out to be zero. Therefore phi b is equal to summation of all the elements B dot delta S is equal to 0. So if we want to find out, there is no need to do this method, because it is clear that the magnetic field lines form a closed loop. So it is always 0. And we know electric flux is equal to summation Q upon epsilon. So this is all about the Gauss law for magnetism. See example number 6. Different diagrams are given, and we have to find out which diagram represent the correct magnetic field, and if it is wrong, then you have to give a reason for it. Also, you have to tell whether this diagram is possible for the electric field lines or not. So you have to compare the electric and magnetic field lines, whether they are possible or not. So diagram number 1, suppose it is a long wire, infinitely long wire carrying current I. So clearly the field lines are emerging from it, which is not the case for the magnetic field line. So it does not represent magnetic field lines, not possible. But if it is an infinitely long wire, the electric field line is possible. So what is wrong is if we consider a closed surface, it does not form a closed loop. Instead, the field lines are emerging from it. So if I consider any, not here, sorry, in here, this will be the, suppose I consider a closed surface on this side. So field lines are emerging from it, which is not possible. So it should form a closed loop. Then second, again, magnetic field lines and electric field lines, both are not possible. Why it is not possible? Because two field lines can never intersect each other. Third case, a toroid. We know that a toroid have a magnetic field inside it. So the inside region is completely confined with the magnetic field lines or magnetic field. So yes, magnetic field lines is possible, not an electric field lines, because electric field lines do not form a closed loop. Also, you remember, if you have a magnetic field line, it does not necessarily means that you have a dipole, means one pole is north and other is south. See the case of a toroid, it is a closed loop. So you have a small dipoles in it with one face north pole and another is south pole. It is a circular loops which are arranged on a non-conducting substance. So it is not necessary that we will always get a north and south pole in the magnetic field lines. This magnetic field lines form a closed loop where you cannot find the north and the south pole. So yes, magnetic field line is possible. Electric field lines can never form a closed loop. Solenoid. Now, as far as inside is concerned, it is uniform, but on the edges, the bending of the field lines take place. So it cannot be exactly straight or uniform, and it cannot be confined inside, because the magnetic field lines have to form a closed loop. So these field lines which are on the edges cannot be completely straight, which indicate that it will not form a closed loop. So it is not the Gauss law for magnetism, which is, if I consider any closed surface, the magnetic flux link should be 0. So not possible. Magnetic field line is not possible. Yes, electric field lines, but again the bending of the field lines always take place. It is impossible, or in ideal case we can consider that electric field lines are straight, otherwise they also bend at the edges. So not possible for electric and magnetic field. There is no bending. And for solenoid, the magnetic field intensity is uniform inside it, not on the edges. Though outside the solenoid we have considered the magnetic field to be 0, and this is the reason, because it form a closed loop. So this is not possible. Again, clearly it is a bar magnet and it is forming a closed loop also. So yes, magnetic field line is possible. Electric field line is not possible. It does not form a closed loop. Come to this diagram. Again, clearly this is not a closed loop. See the arrow here. It is in downward direction. So it is not forming a closed loop. So here the field lines are emerging from this plate. So if I consider a Gaussian surface here, the field lines are emerging from this plates. And if they bend, they terminate at this plate. So they are not forming a closed loop. For electric field lines are possible. So it can be that this plate is positively charged and this plate is negatively charged. Again, you see there is some bending of the field line. So magnetic field line is not possible because it does not form a closed loop. Magnetic field line, electric field lines are possible if we assume one plate is positively charged and another plate is negatively charged. So we are discussing about the magnetic field line, so not possible. Again, North and south pole, again you see, even if there is a north and south pole and the distance is very small, then also the magnetic field lines cannot be considered to be a straight line. There should be some bending of the field lines at the edges. So this is the situation. It should be like this. There should be, you called it that the magnetic field lines are not, the fringe of the magnetic field lines does not take place. Fringe means a slight bending is not same, it is straight. So even it seems that this is a correct representation of a magnetic field lines, but it is not possible because the field lines cannot be completely confined. Magnetic field lines cannot be completely confined and it is not a straight line. The fringing or the bending of the field lines do take place. Now the next topic is the earth magnetism. Now in the introduction we discussed that a lodestone or a leading stone, or we know that magnetic needle always point towards the geographic north. So whenever a bar magnet or a lodestone is suspended freely, it always points in a particular direction, which we call as a north pole. So even if we rotate it by a small angle, it will again align in the north pole. It means there is some magnetism property related to the earth. Now the strength of the earth magnetic field varies from place to place. Why it varies from place to place, that we will discuss in the next lecture. And the value is of order of 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. So the earth magnetic field strength is not very large. It is 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. Still we have many elements related to the earth magnetic field. So it varies from place to place. This is simply an order. The origin of earth magnetic field is still not clear. So still the research are going on. We don't have a clear picture. But originally it was assumed that there is a huge bar inside the earth along its axis. So it was initially assumed that earth consists of a bar magnet like structure and it is along the axis. Now this theory has been proved wrong. There is no such bar magnet. It was simply an assumption because the needle was always pointing towards the north. So it was attracted by the north. So they assumed that there is some bar magnet which is attracting this lodestone or this magnetic needle. Now what is a new assumption? Again it is an assumption that magnetic field is now assumed to arise due to electric current produced by convective motion of the metallic fluid, that is iron and nickel in the molten form. Now we know that inside the earth, this is an earth, the temperature is very high. Temperature is very high. See, one property for a substance to behave like a magnet is the magnetic dipole moment of all the atoms or molecule should be in the same direction. So if you consider that we know that everything is made up of atoms or molecules, so they do possess this magnetic dipole moment that we have seen, taking an example of an hydrogen atom where we have derived the orbital magnetic moment. So each atom behave like a magnet, and according to Ampere, the circulatory current is responsible to understand the magnetic property. If there is a circulatory current due to the motion of the charge, then it is easy to understand the magnetic property. So if I consider these are the atoms, their orbital magnetic moments should align in the same direction. But the temperature inside the earth, so inside this earth, the temperature is very high. And due to the temperature is very high, it is not possible that all the atoms or molecules or whatever substance are there in it, their orbital magnetic moments get aligned in the direction of the field. Clearly, if the temperature is high, the magnetic moment cannot be in the same direction. You can do this by heating a bar magnet. So if we keep on heating a bar magnet which is not very strong, then it loses its magnetic property because they gain energy and they disalign or they does not get aligned. So their alignation is disrupted. So it is not possible that the magnetic property of a earth is due to the magnetic moments. Then what was the other assumption? This iron and nickel exist in molten form and the temperature is very high. Now this temperature is very high as compared to their ionization potential. So ionization potential means at that potential they loses their electron. So iron and nickel at a high temperature, all their electrons are gone, leaving behind the positively charged ion. Now this positively charged ion of iron and nickel are in motion. They are continuously in motion because the temperature is very high, their electrons are gone. Because the energy available inside the earth is higher than their ionization potential. So they loses an electron. Now these ions are continuously in the motion and the earth is rotating about its own axis. So it is assumed that these ions are also rotating along with the earth. Now if the ion, let us consider one ion of nickel or any metal, this ion is also rotating. Now what will happen? Ion is positively charged. The motion of positive charge produces electric current. So it is assumed that this motion of ion, due to all the motion, all the ions will also be rotating along with the earth. Earth is rotating about its axis. This motion of ion give rise to the current, that is the convective motion. So this electric current arises due to the motion of the ion and they have their magnetic moments. Now this effect is also known as the dynamo effect. This effect is known as dynamo effect. So it is now assumed that though the research are going on, it keeps on changing, but for the time being we assume that the magnetic property of the earth or the magnetic field of earth arises due to the electric current which is produced by the convective motion of the metallic fluid. In easy way you try to understand it, that it is due to the motion of the ions which produce a current, and a circulatory current produce the magnetic effect, and therefore the earth also behave like a magnet. But the magnetic property is not so easy as we consider. So still research are going on for this. The correct reason for earth magnetism keeps on changing. Earlier it was believed there is a huge bar magnet. Now we assume that it is due to the motion of the ion. So earth behavior is like a magnet due to this reason, that is called the dynamo effect. Now if earth behave like a magnet, let us see its properties also. Now let us see that the magnetic field lines of earth resemble that of hypothetical magnetic dipole at the center of the earth. So we assume that, hypothetically, not true, that there is some magnetic dipole at the center of the earth. So if we consider that there is a magnetic dipole, it will have a north and the south pole. Now axis of the let us see first about the earth. So this is the earth. Now we know that this is the axis of rotation. So we draw this axis of rotation. Earth is rotating about its own axis. This is the geographic North Pole. So we denote it by NG, G for geography, and this point as geographic South Pole. And this is the axis of the rotation of the Earth. So for the time being, we assume that inside the nickel and iron are in molten form and they are also rotating, which gave rise to the magnetic field. Now this is the case, and now we know this is equator. So this is now called geographic equator. So according to geography, now this is geography. According to geography, this is North Pole and this is South Pole, and it is the line passing through it is the equator, and we assume it is a geographic equator. So this is the Earth. Now the axis of the dipole. Now if we assume, so earlier what was assumed, that inside the Earth there is a huge bar magnet. It was assumed inside the Earth there is a huge bar magnet, due to which we experience the magnetic property of the Earth. This theory was proved wrong. Now it is assumed that we have a magnetic dipole. But it has been found that the axis of the dipole do not coincide with the axis of the rotation of the Earth, but it is tilted by 11.3 degree with respect to the axis of rotation. So if we assume that there is a magnetic dipole, so now it has been assumed that, say there is no such bar magnet. So we assume that there is a bar magnet to understand this clearly, but it is tilted by some angle. So again we assume there is a bar magnet to understand the magnetic effect. Though there is no such huge bar magnet, the reason is different. This point, now this angle is found to be 11.3 degree. So we assume that the axis of the dipole do not coincide with the axis of the rotation of Earth, but tilted by 13.11 degree. So if we assume Earth, inside the Earth there is a huge bar magnet, but its axis of this bar magnet is tilted by 11.3 degree. This point has been referred as the magnetic North Pole, that is denoted by NM. So the point near the geographic North Pole is named as magnetic North Pole or and the point near the geographic South is named as magnetic South Pole. Now how they are named? Because the needle was always pointing towards the north, so this point is named as a North Pole. But because needle was always shifted, or it always points, so it was named as the North Pole, that is magnetic North Pole. It has a magnetic property. So there is geographic poles are different, and if we consider Earth is a huge magnet, then its north and pole are different, which are named as the magnetic North Pole and the magnetic South Pole. However, the behavior is quite different. Now, if it is a bar magnet, we know that the field line originate, okay, let us say where this point or magnetic North Pole is found. So magnetic North Pole is found at latitude 79.74 degree north and longitude is 71.8 degree west. This place is near the North Canada. So exactly not a North Canada, but this point is Canada or a North Canada. So we find the magnetic North Pole at this point, which is a North Canada, not a geographic. So geographic north is now separated from a magnetic North Pole, and the Antarctica having latitude 79.74 south and longitude 108.22 degree east. So this is the place where we have a Antarctica. So earlier we used to assume that Canada and Antarctica are along these two poles. This is Canada, this is Antarctica, but this is a North Canada and this is Antarctica. The magnetic field or the poles are slightly shifted. It has been assumed, now this point keeps on shifting. It is assumed that one day this poles will be this keep on tilting and one day it will be opposite. Earlier also it was said for many years ago that this keeps on changing and a time will come where the polarity will change. So this north becomes south, south will become north. It is an assumptions. Now let us try to draw the magnetic field lines of the earth. So this is geographic equator, and if I assume this is a dipole, that is we have a now north south now. So this is the axis of the dipole. Now if I assume it's as a dipole, then this is its equator. So this is magnetic equator. This is called as magnetic equator. So you see the diagram, because the geographic north and the magnetic north are tilted, or the angle between them is 11.3. So equator should also be tilted. So we have geographic equator as well as a magnetic equator. Again, let us draw. Now this is your geographic north, this is your geographic south, and we have the axis of rotation. Let us draw a bar magnet here, though it is an hypothetical. This is hypothetical. We assume it is a magnetic dipole. Now this point is named as magnetic north, magnetic south. But the behavior, we have to draw the magnetic field lines. So if we consider a bar magnet, we have the field lines from north to south, inside it is south to north. So we have studied this, but in the introduction we said that the magnetic field lines of the earth is from geographic south to geographic north. Now we shift our point from instead of geographic south, we come to the magnetic south pole. So inside it, its behavior is like a north pole and this behavior is like a south pole. Though we name it as magnetic north-south pole and magnetic north pole, but the behavior is opposite. But because it was lying near to the south, geographic south, so it was named as magnetic south, magnetic north. But while studying, you have to keep in mind that the behavior is exactly opposite. So if we assume there is a huge bar magnet, there is no such bar magnet, then it is opposite to it. Why it is opposite? Because if the needle or the lodestone is suspended and it is oscillated or it is twisted, it come back to its original position. It means this north of the needle is attracted by some opposite polarity. So it is assumed that its behavior should be opposite. Now how the field line should be drawn? So the field lines are drawn like this. So this is how the magnetic field lines originate from the south and it goes inside. So we draw it originating from the So this is the magnetic field lines of the earth, which is again similar to the bar magnet, but the behavior is opposite. Say it is originating from, we can say it is originating from geographic south, though it is tilted by this angle 11.3. So it originates from the magnetic south pole, then it enters from the magnetic north pole to complete a loop. So to understand the earth magnetism, we assume there is an bar magnet which is opposite to this name. So this side, which is we call it a magnetic south pole, its behavior is like a north pole. So magnetic south pole behave as north pole, because we have to and this behave as a south pole, because we have to draw the field lines again and again. So it should not be confused with the direction. We have a north, and if we put an arrow inside, it create a confusion. So this is the magnetic field lines of earth at any place. If I am at this place, say I am at this place, then the magnetic field line will be along the tangent. If I am at this place, then the magnetic field lines will be this. If I am on the equator, then the magnetic field lines will be straight. If I am at the pole, then the magnetic field line is inverted. If I am at this pole, the magnetic field lines are inverted like this, straight. So depending on at which place you are, because the magnetic field lines are being drawn curved, so it should be along the tangent. So we will see what is the magnetic field intensity at the equator, geographic equator or magnetic equator, or on the poles. So if we keep on going to the pole, see the tangent, so it will become inverted. So if you take a needle from equator to the pole, it will be inverted. Your north end of the needle will become vertically straight exactly at magnetic north. And if you move to the south, your magnetic needle, so what is this? Is a magnetic field line. But if I am going like this north will be attracted towards it. So the magnetic needle, it will shift. So it start rotating in the vertical plane. It start rotating in the vertical plane, that we will see the next lecture. So this is the introductory portion of earth magnetism. Because it is tilted, we have the elements, different elements related to earth magnetism. So we have two elements related to the magnetism, which we will discuss in next lecture. One is declination and one is inclination. Inclination is also known as a dip angle. So they are the angle, because the earth, there is no such bar magnet, but this hypothetical bar magnet does not coincide with the axis of the rotation. It give rise to the two elements which are called as the two elements of earth magnetic field, that is angle of declination and angle of inclination, that is dip angle. It should be clear that this if you take a needle from north to south, the magnetic field lines are along the tangent. The magnetic field lines of earth is curved. So this magnetic needle will keep on changing its direction and it will rotate. Here it is, the behavior is south. So if this is a magnetic needle at equator, it will be like this, straight. Then it will keep on bending and finally like this. So the magnetic field lines will change. And if you move to this side, the magnetic north, the north of the needle will start rotating, and then south, it will go like that. So if the needle is like this, if you go like this, south pole of the needle will be attracted to the north, opposite. So the name is south, but the behavior is north. Name is north, but the behavior is south. So we will discuss all this in the next lecture. So we wind up our lecture today with this introductory part. You read the textbook for the theoretical portion. we have discussed the main points related to earth magnetism. Have a nice day.